Welcome to the Floor Academy podcast. We've got a special edition today for Coverings 2022, where we will be discussing self-warranty versus manufacturer warranty in a battle to the gruesome death. We were going to see what happens up here on this little stage. With me, I have four fabulous people that know way more about this than I do, and that's why they're going to carry the conversation, and I'll ask some questions. So on my left, we're going to start with Joseph Matisse, and we're going to hear who he is and a little bit about him, and then we'll keep moving around the table here.
I'm Joseph Matisse. I own and operate on the level flooring in Greenville, South Carolina. I'm a certified tile installer, and I am a systems guy.
Don't let him play it down. He just got the CID award yesterday, so he's a somebody.
I'm here.
And next.
Oh, you did introduce me. I'm Trask Bergerson, Tile and Stone. Partner in a third-generation company from Astoria, Oregon. We do most of the residential installation, tile and slab.
Erin Albrecht, J&R Tiles, San Antonio, Texas. We are an NTCA 5-star commercial and residential contractor. I am a non-system warranty person. Non-system.
Buddy.
I'm Ken Ballin out of Ocean County, New Jersey. I install tile and flooring, and I too am after my own warranty, like some other installers.
Personal warranty, I meant to say.
Personal warranty.
J&R warranty versus manufacturer warranty.
Yes. Okay. So for me, what this all kind of comes down to is a sales process. And we'll work our way through this, why Joseph and Trask want to go with systems and have that manufacturer warranty in place, and why Ken and Erin want to sit there and self-warranty, and they can mix and match and Frankenshower, and they feel they're getting the best results. And ultimately, I think it's what you're comfortable with, but I want to know why some are comfortable with more, I'll say plug and play, and maybe that's not the best word to use, but plug and play systems, as opposed to now I have to figure out how to make all these things work together. So let's start with manufacturer warranties. Like, Joseph, why do you even want to use the system that you use? And I believe it's Schluter. I could be wrong. But why have you chosen to go with that system and put that in place?
Sure. So I tend to be brand agnostic. I use whatever brands are most easily available to me. But whenever I do that, I do try to stay within the system warranty structure. And I know that you're not a tile guy, and I know that a lot of your listeners are not tile people necessarily. Mm-hmm. So the system warranty thing, it's a little bit unique in the tile industry versus the rest of the flooring industry, because it's sort of the entire assembly out from studs or joists. And these companies will manufacture and warranty everything from primers, levelers, adhesives, waterproofing, and so forth. So they tend to be a little bit more comprehensive than I've seen in other segments of the flooring area. So for me, basically it boils down to a few things. One is I have guaranteed compatibility, and it's simpler to track things down should I have an issue. But I also think that there's an ethical component, and I don't always do systems, but I always bring them up to my clients, and if they choose, one of the things that I have in my contract is if they choose to do a system, my personal warranty extends from 1 year to 5 years. But I also believe that should I get injured on the job, or if I go out of business, or I move to a different place, I want to make sure that I leave my clients with something that they can fall back on should something happen that was unforeseen.
Okay. Trask, why do you choose to go with this system?
Well, maybe I'll throw a zinger. I am a systems maximalist, if there was a phrase to coin that. We believe deeply in systems, always have. Probably within the last decade, I guess, we got really, really serious about systems. I'm not good at this mic thing. Anyway, I'm not really after a manufacturer's warranty per se. We have a lifetime warranty. To steal a phrase John Bridge used years ago, it's kind of your lifetime warranty. The welcome to business in a small town. It's what we have to do in our marketplace to distinguish ourselves and to get the kind of luxury prices we want to charge. I strongly believe, however, in the systems paradigm, I guess it's sort of paradoxical. Are you really going to ever need to utilize their warranty if you do it by the book, as they've engineered it to go together, as they've engineered it to, function for, your lifetime in mind? I mean, I don't think you're ever going to have to use it. And frankly, I never have had to use it. I have some credibility here because I did do some Franken stuff, though. Early in my career, I thought I was smarter than the manufacturers. That's the only time I've ever been burned, so that's why I put a stake in the ground.
Okay, so it came from, this isn't working, let me try putting an entire package
It
together.
might be a better way.
Okay. Erin, why not a system? Why take everything and say, I'm just going to put my company's name on the line, which I think no matter what, it's always on the line.
Absolutely.
But
It's
why
interesting
do it?
you said that, because that's exactly why. At the end of the day, who is going to have your backs is your company. And you can file a claim with Schluter or whoever you happen to have your system manufacturer warranty with. But if you read the fine print and your company is fitting the bill, if it's a redo and tear out anyway, whatever that failure might occur, you're still waiting for that money, that cash flow, everything that's going along with it. That's your company. So it should be whatever you feel comfortable with that's going to withhold it. And the last time I checked in the TCNA handbook, boys, because we're a 5-star contractor and this is how we roll,
You have this covered.
ANSI 118.10 waterproofing systems doesn't say Schluter, doesn't say Curdy, doesn't say Schluter Curdy, doesn't even say the word orange. It does not anywhere say you have to use it. So whatever manufacturer, I do agree with Trask on, there's engineers and people that have tested this. There's EATMO and the UPC testing and everything that goes along with these engineered cements and waterproofing systems, these membrane systems. As long as you follow those specific ANSI, waterproofing instructions per manufacturer, I think they can be mixed in a hybrid system appropriately if you have the certified tile installers and professionals to get it done. You know what I'm saying? Ken Ballin?
So, Ken Wire, you did do systems for a while. I remember you seeing posts, and it wasn't always, you jumped between, but you would try and do complete systems, and now you'll kind of put whatever together. So why are you where you're at now?
Well, I think it's interesting, and you guys are so much better at remembering the numbers, the ANSI standards than I am. I'm dyslexic to a degree, I suppose. But, they're marketing tools, these warranties, and what I use is going to, currently, what I use is going to depend on two things. One, what I've sold to my customer. If I've sold them a Schluter shower with a lifetime warranty, then I'm going to use the Schluter thin sets and everything that I have to sell that shower to that customer. They want that Schluter lifetime warranty. This customer over here may not be as concerned with that, but it could come down to, instead of the Schluter system warranty or the Laticrete system warranty, it could come down to what I can currently find available. So we've really become a victim now to access as opposed to my personal feelings. I might be able to find a Schluter pan with Go board and Bostik sealant and Ardex it's really,
yes.
We've become a victim of our environment at this point, and we need to have the skill set to be able to make something work to a degree for that customer.
And I want to dig into that in a minute, because I think that's definitely been trying the past 18 to 24 months as materials disappeared, came back, disappeared, they're kind of back. Who knows? Any given day of the week, it's going to be a different story. Joseph, what I found interesting that you said was, if my client decides to go with a system, I'll take my personal warranty from 1 year to 5 year.
Yep.
So your standard at a 1, if they do a system, you're at 5. Trask, what are you at on a warranty for your clients?
We don't have a limit, and we don't make a distinction.
Okay.
We also don't sell the manufacturer's warranty or anything like that. Basically, you're dealing with us. If we have an issue, we're going to take care of you right now. That's the expectation in the luxury market. And I'm going to go behind the scenes, and I might have a really frank discussion with my manufacturer, my rep, or whoever needs to be but the customer's ultimately going to get taken care of. I think we can all agree on that. We're all about taking care of the customers, all of us.
Definitely.
We're going to approach it a little bit differently, but ultimately that's where we're going to land is the customer's going to get taken care of without a problem. Now, in a builder situation, it can be a little bit different. And to the point Erin, I would address, I would concur with you. We have filed a claim years ago, and we won't get proprietary or anything. It doesn't even matter who's wrong or right. However,
Have fun with that.
anybody like, going through insurance type documents with an attorney, because welcome to it. And that is a reality, I will concede. Absolutely. Absolutely. However, they will work with you.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, this is a fun argument to have, especially online. Lots of people like to pile on this, but it is also kind of a false dichotomy because it's not like it's one or the other. Like, if I do a system, my name is still on the line first and foremost, just like everybody else up on here. So I recognize that. So like you guys said, it is a marketing tool for sure, and it's an effective one. It's something that I'm a very small scale installer. I've been able to leverage that into much larger projects than I probably would have, especially for the age of my company, because it showed a little bit of a different approach than my other competition. And ultimately, and I think Trask will agree with this too, the warranty has a lot to do with your relationship with your suppliers and your manufacturers. And when you have a good relationship with a manufacturer, supplier, your reps, they're gonna go to bat for you to help you out even more than they necessarily have to. So.
Okay. I want to stay down the original train of thought. However, the relationship thing plays into it too. So, Erin, where are you at? Like, where is J&R
How many
warranty?
years?
Yeah, like,
Right.
or
So
is it just lifetime? Or
So it's a
however?
little different because we do commercial and we do residential work. So on the commercial side, it depends. Really, it's kind of like a good, better, best system. And we have a submittal process commercially. So what happens is we're going to submit a certain, typically it's Ardex or Laticrete, and whatever grouts and adhesives that they would pick within our submittal, it's going to be between 1 and 5 years typically. It can go up to 25 years. So my answer to that is typically 5 to 25 years.
Okay.
Based on our submittal process and what they choose. And really the specifications. It comes down to money in the commercial world, if you guys know that. So when you're during the bidding process, you have to, 254 Platinum and X77 is not going to work for you so well if you have 20,000 square feet. It just depends on the project. I see you looking at your watch. You ready for the next answer? The next answer is a lifetime J&R system warranty for shower systems residentially.
No, I'm just keeping track
And
internally.
that is the Franken shower, specifically mud floors with topical waterproofing, integrated bonding, flange flow FX drains, and a cementitious coated extruded foam substrate.
I don't know what most of that means, but that's okay. I get it.
That's my system.
There's a pan and there's a drain and then there's some stuff on the wall.
That's J&R's go-to.
Ken, where are you at? Like, what is your standard warranty for people?
I typically do things a little differently. I don't necessarily. I guess if I'm answering honestly, I'd have to say lifetime warranty, and that's my lifetime. If anything goes wrong with one of my projects while I'm walking the earth, I'm going to go out of my way to fix it for the customer. The customer comes first. It doesn't matter whether this company warrants it for 5 years, 10 years, and this company gives you a right. If my name is on it, that's my brand. And at the end of the day, my brand is the most important. So it doesn't matter what the numbers are.
So I think what was interesting with Joseph was like, well, if they go with the system, I go from 1 to 5. But I know the answer to this question from all of you. Do any of you change the way you install your showers based upon the package that they purchased?
Absolutely
No.
Of course not.
So,
and it's funny because I went through a phase where I was really trying to, Erin mentioned good, better, best, and I went, to my local tile store and I said, let's price it out with a good, better, best, a different, package for these different warranties. And for me, where I was buying from, the cost difference between that good, better, best, we're talking a few $100.
Phenomenal.
And when I'm talking to my customer, and I understand that I'm very spoiled in the market that I work in. I work in a tourist market with second and third homes. So the clients that are spending money with me are not going to fret over a few $100 between a good, better, best system. So I always go with my preferred, whatever I like to use on the job.
But that being said, one of the things that we're doing now residentially, so it doesn't turn around and bite us and burn us, is we're using single component grouts. And right now, that's one of our things. You know, at this point in time, at Coverings 2022, it is Bostic True Color and Mapei 3D Flex Color, whatever. CQ, that's what I said. Pay attention. That one. Those are the two that we're using because we're not having the callbacks.
Yeah.
And these cementitious
We're moving the
grouts,
same way.
these cementitious grouts, there's too much risk from every manufacturer. It can say perma whatever it wants. It's going to change colors on you. I promise.
And Kyle, to your point,
It's too much risk.
To your point, I mean, like you said, product selection, all of that stuff, it's secondary, maybe even tertiary to the correct way of using it. Following the correct methods, the correct order of operations, following all that stuff like Erin was talking about, following the ANSI standard, following TCNA methods. That's giving you your best chance for success. And so, like, I think all of us are in agreement that ideally we want the chances of having to make a claim to be next to nothing.
Correct.
And so the correct methods are the best way to achieve that.
Well, can I get specific to, this is something we haven't really delved into yet, so I'm jumping the gun maybe
Go ahead.
a little bit, but contractually, you want to get into minutia. One of my best friends is an attorney. So this was kind of a fun exercise because I was challenged by a client.
Fun
not that long
exercise.
ago. Yeah, fun in that fun way. The client challenged me when I just rattled off the typical stuff. Yeah, you know, we're going to cover you no matter what. You get a lifetime warranty with us. It's all included. Da 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 da. And she was very precise and said, "I want to know specificity. I want to know what's included in that warranty." And that caught me off guard. And I was like, "Okay, where do you want to go?" You know. I mean, I think it's common sense. At some point, as we sort of hashed it out and, you know, in a friendly negotiation, it became like, you know, obviously, if your teenage kid drives a truck through the shower, you know, I think we're going to have a different discussion.
Or act of God.
Yeah, well,
Actually, no. It should
it's
be
a practical matter.
You should hide in the shower if a tornado's coming. I told my parents that the other day in Texas, right? Like, what's the safe? It's mud, baby. Get in the shower.
Well, here's what my attorney friend said to that exact verbiage. Everything can be an act of God if you want to spend enough money with Dewey, Cheatham, and Howell Law Firm. We can absolutely. You give me a stack of paper this high with minutia, and I can specify every conceivable scenario, and there is a loophole for every specific scenario itemized. So it still comes back to we're going to have a relationship. There's trust involved. My reputation hopefully precedes me. So that warranty is not carved in stone.
You feel good.
It's a feel good.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Warm
it
and
is.
fuzzy.
It's warm and fuzzy. Yeah.
So, Trask, can I ask a question about that?
Please.
Where did you guys end up with that client, with her request for specificity?
We had that discussion right along those lines. She wanted specificity along the lines of like, you know what, get back to me. Because I wasn't prepared to give specifics, and I said, I don't want to get Tourette's right here. So let me think about it. I said, in all honesty, full transparency, I've never been challenged on that before. You can talk to clients. We do take care of people. We've been here a really long time. And that's when I called my attorney friend and said, so seriously, what do I do with this? Do I start trying? And he's like, look, they're either going to be comfortable or they're not. And it does boil back down to that. I mean, you're not building a children's playground on a concrete parking lot. So, you know, this is a different thing.
Yeah.
And residential, I suspect, is very different from commercial as well, where you're dealing with specifications.
Well, you're not responsible at that point. When you have architectural plans
Yeah.
and an owner and a general contractor involved, and you're the subcontractor, and you're not the contractor dealing directly with an owner, and that's not your contractual binding agreement, right? And we have
Kind of love it in a
AIA
way.
documents. Oh, but trust me, you're still at fault at the end somehow.
Of course.
somehow you're the professional, right? Which is why we're back to the handbook. And as long as you're following the standards in the handbook, as long as it's meeting those ANSI standards and labeled appropriately on those buckets, and you're following those assemblies, you can always go back to your buddy in court of law. That's what we're about, is mitigating the risk
Could we get
involved.
into the guts of it, though? Why fix what isn't broken? With regard to, like, if we're going to do systems and you guys want to put a system together, right? That would be my stance on it would be, as a practical matter, isn't it just easier to run with the system? That's what I wanted to know. Honestly, is like, why fix what's not broken?
I think that I think it goes to a point, to a degree, that's going to work, and I think you need to be flexible enough at some point to say, you know, I need to alter this. I need to kind of change my trajectory because there's this new element that's come into the situation that I haven't thought of before. I had and I was big systems warranty.
Like these single components aren't in the handbook.
No.
Yeah,
you're right.
like we're using single component grouts and they're not in the handbook yet.
See, well, and so I had
Eyeballs.
this one job site comes to mind where there was a curbless shower and it was a full Schluter system, and I had my rep write a job-specific warranty for that job, and at the end of the day, it was because I wanted to bring some pebbles out onto the pan, onto the detro a little bit, onto the uncoupling, smaller than 2 inches. We all know, So the job-specific warranty required me putting Curdy fabric over the detro where those pebbles are. It was 2 to 3 square feet. It wasn't anything crazy.
But you were covering your butt.
Yes.
Because of the mosaic over the ditro
Exactly.
situation? Okay.
Exactly. So having the pebbles over the Detra, I wanted to make sure, hey, give me a job site warranty. That was important to that customer. That customer wanted a job-specific warranty. That's fine.
Written.
That's what. Yeah. Exactly. So I went through the process and did it for the warranty that was written, and that got me a 10-year warranty, all with Schluter, thin sets and all that good stuff. And for the most part, I use Bostic setting materials. And after speaking with my Bostic rep after, he was like, "Dude, you could have used our stuff as is, and we'd have given you a 25-year warranty."
Well, and this is where the relationships with your reps come in. Is that by being able to call them up, talk with them, have them do a job site visit or a job start with you, they'll start looking at your project and saying, we can do this for you, we can do that for you. I had an Utzen rep out for a pour I was doing, and we got to talking about their moisture mitigation product, and there was a large commercial job, and so I think it's 2 coats is 98% RH on concrete, and the guy was being a stickler and pushing, and the, not my rep, but his boss was the guy that got to make the ultimate call, and he was like, all right, I'll call it in and we'll write it for 99% RH. Like, does the 1% matter? Probably not, but if that's what they wanted, like, all right, fine, we'll write it up for that, even though technically on the box we put 98. But by being able to have these relationships with your reps, calling them up, getting to know them, coming to shows, right? You guys are already involved more than probably 98% of contractors in your area because you're here listening to this live and you're at this show. That puts you farther ahead and able to offer better services to your clients. And I think at the end of the day, it doesn't matter which side of the fence you fall on here at this table with me, you're looking to be able to provide the best service possible.
It goes back to the comfort and the relationships and what you're doing for your clients.
And something that comes in consideration with me that I didn't mention earlier is because I am such a small company, I am my whole company. It's me and my wife.
Yep.
Give her a shout out.
This is my wife Brenda. She's amazing. She comes covering with me every year. She's fantastic. But if something goes wrong on a major project, I'm so small that could literally wipe out everything to my name. So for me, it's also valuable to know with my relationships, if I have a multi-million-dollar company standing behind a project that I built because I use their products, that to me is worth a lot for my own peace and security as well.
But how many, visit an online group any day of the week. How many times is it? well, they didn't stand behind their warranty, they didn't do this, they didn't do that, and it's always the installer's fault. It's, you screwed up, and we're not going to honor it.
The installer can screw up quite a bit.
Usually they skipped a step.
Yeah.
Usually they skipped something that they knew they shouldn't.
I will agree that like 98% of the time, it really probably is the installer's fault, and they
As an
screwed up.
installer, I'm comfortable saying that.
Absolutely,
Correct.
yeah, people saying that. It's a fact. However, I would concur with you in the inverse, because we're a bigger company, and I have a lot of installers. I mean, my running joke with, excuse me, my son is, hey, you want to gamble? You want to play some slots? And I'm like, do you not get that we are professional gamblers? I mean, I have 20-somethings in multi-million-dollar homes waterproofing third-story showers. I would consider myself a professional gambler at this point.
We won't wrap our trucks because we don't want anybody to run out in front of us and hit the brakes.
So
That's an interesting
I
point.
swear to you, Joseph, you're laughing.
Yeah.
My parents are like, you can't wrap the trucks.
I don't wrap my
You're gonna
truck.
lose your life.
I don't wrap my
They're gonna
truck so
own
that
you.
people can't call me if I cut them off. So
Oh, there you go.
You do have to drive very carefully if you've got a vehicle wrap.
But just that, as I say, it's for a practical matter. Look, it's paid by the numbers. There is so much redundancy in the system that we use for
driving the van,
waterproofing
though, is the-
that I sleep
guys.
really good at night knowing that these guys are fully trained and they're out there. And I think you could make a really good point to these two guys that, you know, a really skilled, really well trained installer could probably put, it sounds absurd for me to say this as a systems guy, you could make an argument that you could put together probably a better crafted system.
You're right, we can.
Because I know you can. I know you do. I know both of you do. Because you're evolving faster than the big giant companies. Okay, you are implementing things maybe in a better way. I have to say I can't fix, or why would I fix what's not broken? Because I have to send guys out, you know, and hope to God that they didn't miss one critical step. If I was a solo guy,
Me too.
I don't know if I would be a 100% systems
Me too.
guy.
So why not have that risk and create your own system where you can control the
Because
risk
since
involved and it not
2004,
be
we've been doing it this way and it works.
2022, Grandpa.
So one thing, a few years ago I wrote an article in Tile Letter magazine called "The Hazards of Hybrids," and it was basically this conversation that I wrote about. And one of the things that I did ahead of time was I went on to the different tile Facebook groups and I put out a call. I said, guys, I need pictures of perfectly waterproof showers and I need pictures of hybrids, and we're going to use this in an article. Okay? There's tons of proponents for hybrid systems, and I'm not the sort of person that believes they absolutely will fail. But I said, you know, I want equal, correct representation. Nobody who loves and stood behind their hybrids would send me a picture to use in this article. And so I used the only hybrid that I got a picture of, which looked terrible.
Damn.
And that wasn't my fault, because honestly, a lot of the people out there who do hybrids are the sort of people who don't understand how to actually build showers. They don't understand the proper methods and all that jazz. So,
We must have missed
like
that.
I said, I mean, I put out the call because I wanted a good hybrid system, but nobody would answer the call. They wouldn't put their name out there when I was going to put it on in an article to be printed.
Well, the way, look, so let's deconstruct how a failure happens, right? Because we've all had them. And even minor failures. When that happens, and Ken, you mentioned something really important, and then we all do this. Big jobs, I'm gonna walk the job, get the recommendation with my local rep. What's your recommendation? How do we proceed here? We've got the blessing, now we move forward. Something goes wrong and I've mixed and matched products, my relationship gets really weird all of a sudden. When I call my Schluter guy and go, hey, I have a problem here. Okay, who's the what? Yeah, about that. He's
We
still
just
there?
did that. Just happened to us.
We didn't use that product, but are you still there? So,
But I used your uncoupling mat, but I didn't use your self-leveling
Yeah.
underlayment.
well, okay, we can work around that. And what kind of banding did you use? Yeah, about that. I was on your German website and I got an idea. They kind of look at you like, man, I can't help you now. Or, from my perspective, because it's my warranty really I'm extending anyway, I just want to know. Nobody's involved at this point but me and the guy. And I'm like, help me deconstruct what happened here. And they're like, there's too many moving parts. You've mixed and matched too much stuff. I don't know. Now you're going to have to call the guy from Lady Crete. Now you're going to have to call the guy from Schluter. And what's that over there? I don't even know if you can get a hold of him. So you know, and I'm making a joke about it, but I'm just saying everybody's response is going to be, oh, I got wiggle room here, so we don't know where to begin. We don't know where the interface broke down.
I think we're back to that struggle right now in the past 24 months of geography and limitations of stock
Supply
of what's
chain.
in my area. If we're doing a 2,000 square foot pour, and the only thing in San Antonio, Texas is an SLU of Laticrete and, Blanky or Ardex Flexbone this, I'm already mixing up systems.
Yep.
And I got Karen down the street hooping and hollering that we got to be there yesterday. What am I supposed to do? I'm under contract.
Tell
You got to
her,
make the
Karen,
call.
We're systems.
We're
You're gonna have to wait
systems,
2
Karen.
years.
I gave you a system, so you need to wait. Karen doesn't want to hear that because she's got a
Right.
J&R warranty. She doesn't have a systems warranty.
The last year and a half have tested us, not just how we do things, but how we operate with each other. And it's interesting to see how we evolve and how we adapt in these different situations with different people, because different customers want different things. So we really need to kind of have that flexibility, but the confidence in our abilities to back it up.
Yep.
So, one, I mean, no matter what you're doing, you're all artisans, okay? The people actually out in the field doing the work, you're artisans. They get a custom shower. It doesn't matter if it's just 12 by 24s and it's all the same tile throughout, or if you start, scribing in pebbles or whatever you're doing, right? It's still art and you're an artisan. It becomes a custom shower because you can have another 3 by 5 shower in that same house, same exact tile. It's going to come out slightly different. You're going to tweak a tile one way, or something's going to be slightly off. They're not going to be exactly the same. So why follow a system as opposed to go fully custom? If we're providing custom stuff, why get locked into they say this works? And I guess on the opposite side is, well, maybe it's the same side. If the ANSI standards and all these other standards say, do X, Y, and Z, and you're going to be essentially bulletproof as long as you make it happen, then what do I need this plug and play guarantee for?
Sure.
We're doing custom, and if I'm being a good contractor and participating in my industry, learning about the standards, educating myself, continuing to get education, what's the point? Is it just easier and faster, do you think? Or, on your side, is it faster because you don't have to deal with this, that, the other thing, and I can move from this to that and find things that make me do it quicker?
I'll go first. One thing I didn't mention is that handbook is minimum industry standards,
Minimum
right?
standards,
It's
yes.
minimum standards, which is just fancy for what's going to hold up into the court, in a court of law, right? So that's more for protection of the company more than anything. But at the same time, these assemblies and processes, it's still going to be your company at the end of the day. But who's going to have your company's back at the end of the day? It's your attorney. So we're going back to that handbook no matter what. It's just how catastrophic of a failure is this going to be? How often is it going to occur? And what are our systems in place to handle it, right?
Yeah. So Kyle, I have an in the weeds answer and I have a much simpler answer. Which would you prefer for this format?
Oh, no, let's get in the weeds.
Okay, let's get in the weeds.
Let's do it. We got to keep the conversation going here.
So as far as why stick to a system if we're doing all custom, recently we've been working on the idea of tile as an assembly. So if you think of, you show up to build a shower and you got bare studs, the tile assembly starts with whatever you cover the walls with, whatever you waterproof the walls with, whatever you set the tile with, whatever you grout the tile with, and then how you finish your changes of plane, right? So that's a whole assembly. And in those terms, it's not custom because we follow the TCNA methods, we follow the ANSI standards for installation. So that process and that assembly, layer by layer, is not custom at all. It's really cosmetically custom in that sense. So as far as why stick to that, why stick to a system if that's the case, I mean, just like we've said several times, it comes down to peace of mind, whether it's my peace of mind, whether it's the client's peace of mind, whether it's my rep's peace of mind that I'm still buying his product, any one of those things. But ultimately, that's what I'm relying on economically, and that's also what I'm counting on in the future. Hopefully not.
Well, if we're gonna talk peace of mind, then I think it's walking into whatever client you're going to see, and it doesn't matter what I sell them. They're trusting me. I provide the peace of mind no matter what at the end of the day. I'm there. So it's my relationships with my vendors that they've convinced me to have peace of mind with them. So does that all really matter what you're selling?
Well, let's go from the weeds to the sticker bushes. So, for real, excuse me, and back to deconstruction of a failure. What happens in a formal setting if it really goes there? If your assembly does fail, whether it's a system or it's piecemealed together in any fashion, you ultimately, if it goes to its natural end, are going to end up in front of an arbitrator or some sort of legal setting, and you're going to be tasked with educating a layperson about these things. So what's the Bible? The item and document is the standards. However, and again, this is just my opinion, but from a practical sense, again, I feel like that layperson, if they're looking at the law is a very orderly thing in some respects, or they want it to be. And I am demonstrating that I am in compliance with the manufacturer's recommendation entirely as a systems proponent. And even if we're going to look at pictures, it's going to look homogeneous and correct to me. Whether it is or not is up for debate. However, if this is the judge and the jury I'm before, and they see all orange or they see all this color, and it looks like it should work, appropriately, I think I have an advantage there.
That's an interesting point.
And even in the TCNA handbook, if you were to look at the page describing the shower that Erin was talking about, creating, all these different ones, if you put up a fabric, if you actually look at where it specifies the category of waterproofing membrane, it always says installed per manufacturer's directions. And ultimately, while we follow the standards, legally speaking, manufacturer's recommendations supersede. So if you show up with a failure, to Trask's point, if you show up to a failure and you end up in a deposition and they say, well, what brand product did you use to waterproof? And you say, well, I used Schluter-Curdy for the main part, and then I used some Red Guard banding for the banding. And you say, well, here it says in ANSI 118.10, it says should be installed per manufacturer's instructions. Can you show me where in the Curdy instructions it says to use Red Guard banding? And you're not even getting to court. This is in the deposition. So technicality, and that's where you lose money. That's where you can lose your house.
However, to be clear, you guys are navigating this within the bounds of the manufacturer's recommendation, and I think we're seeing the response from the manufacturers becoming much more flexible in these times. Am I correct?
It's true.
They're extending warranties they didn't extend before. They're extending permissions. Yeah, we're okay with you using us with this manufacturer stuff. They're mortars and whatever. They're allowing for that.
After calling technical headquarters and getting it in writing, of course. Of course.
Well, no, I think that's a great point, though, right?
Which could take a week, and which could slow down, a project for you, or a large project, or one person's shower. It doesn't matter, but it could hurt your business financially.
Well, yes, it could take that long, but aren't we looking at our jobs weeks or months in advance? I know that I get a project, I'm trying to order materials as soon as possible for it.
Not when the material just got switched because this place is out of stock and you've been waiting for this long, and that's right.
Yeah, it's a different
We're
environment.
a lot more victim to that in the tile industry than the flooring industry. So it's kind of that added flexibility for us as floor guys to switch from this level to that level isn't as dramatic.
But I'm saying, I'm going to order the materials as soon as I book the job, even if it's 2 months out or 3 months out. So I'm trying to get them
But
to
if
me
you're
as
on
soon as
a
possible.
30-day net and you have to pay for them when you pick them up and they say it's in stock, you see me, Trask, because I'm a cheap girl.
You're a
Cheap
smart
date.
girl. I know.
No,
what you're
I
saying.
like cash. I like it in the bank. So
We're not a charity either.
we're in a 30 or 60-day net. We're going to pick it up a week before the job. That's the rule at J&R at least. If our warehouse manager picks something up too early, unless we're stocking it, of course, which we have to stock a lot of products as tile professionals, That's just part of the,
But you're talking specifically about the tile.
a specific tile or a
we're the same way.
specific, sometimes waterproofing component, because they just can't keep it on the shelves at this point. Then you have to make that switch.
Well, okay, so you switch, but then can't you? I would think you would start realizing that, okay, hey, we keep running out of this. We better just bring it in and start stocking it.
We're not perfect, Kyle.
No one is. It's not that I am either. I run out of things. It happens,
Yeah.
and I have to run out and get them.
I run out of laundry,
I think scale
Keep it on.
works into this a lot too. The
Absolutely.
way that you approach it, because, like you said, Erin is a completely different scale than I am.
Correct.
It would take me 15 years to get close to competing with her on scale. And it would never happen because she's still growing. She's still moving in. And so her priorities are different from my priorities.
Well, and everyone runs a unique business model. I mean, obviously, Erin and Trask both have warehouse space. Ken, I know you have a garage. Joseph, I'm assuming you have something to at least keep some stuff in. I have my wife's house, and I get yelled at all the time of, how long is that baseboard going to sit in the corner? It makes my house look real ugly. And
I keep everything in my van all the time.
I wish. I wish. There's too many tools. So if we're navigating these tough times, I get it that there's struggles. And so as coming from it as like a systems person, I know that there's been Curdy shortage. Everybody knows it. It doesn't matter if it's Curdy or Hydroban or whatever board it was, that there was shortages. So I think an interesting thing is they have warehouse space. You guys don't have as much.
And we stock pallets of foam board. Pallets of foam
We
board.
built an addition to house phone board. And I'm not even joking. We built an addition in a warehouse.
But for smaller contractors, why
I just wanted to
not?
see you get it out. Let's go.
Go, baby.
Because I know how much you guys do.
My
in
warehouse
volume.
is bigger. I mean, go on.
Jeez. Oh my. Everything's
not-
bigger
it's
in
not bigger.
everything's bigger in Texas. We know, Erin. But why not work with other local guys? I know the Jersey crew's amazing at working together and passing things back and forth and whatnot. But if you're in your area and we're having these problems, go rent a 10 by 10 storage unit for $100 a month, but get 2 other contractors in on it with you, and you're paying $33 a month, but you can buy pallets of whatever you need. Now go buy a pallet of mortar, buy a pallet of board, buy a pallet of whatever it is, buy a pallet of drains. Maybe they've been hard to get, I have no idea. But work with people to make your life easier, I think. And then it goes back to, now I can continue to hold my promise, which that's at the end of the day, I think what everyone's trying to do is just keep their promise to the client of, this is what I bring to the table, this is what I'm going to provide you with, and I want you to feel comfortable with me.
Well, and that's going to change from market to market too. Like, I almost like having a level of ambiguity with my customers that they trust me, and I can pick and choose whatever I want to use on their product because they trust me.
So that's a really good point, actually.
There's so many different
comfort goes
finishes
a
of
lot.
Schluter, right? Like, how could you possibly stock all the grates? I mean, you can't. It's,
Well, no, but I
there's too
think
many
what you're
parts
saying,
and
and
pieces.
you brought up a good point, though. If we're the professional, this is just like, how itemized do you do your bids now? Is it going to really be 20 pages long of everything you might
Well, no,
use?
and that's
Absolutely.
We've had that conversation before where my estimates are, labor, setting materials. Here's your total only.
Yeah.
I'm not going through line items
Yeah.
because, as if you're my client, then you have to trust me to do my job. And we have to have it's good, communication, relationships. You trust me enough to say Ken knows what he's doing. I trust him.
Well,
So-
I started thinking about, like, if this is, again, back to the luxury market scenario, if I'm a consumer and I'm going to buy the new luxury Mercedes, this is like the salesman at some point going, hey, so did you want to powwow with our lead bearing engineer? No, I just want the car. I trust you guys have done it well. So there is a defense there that, like,
But I
look,
would like to see a copy of your warranty and the agreement and conditions of our contract. A draft of that at least, since I'm going to spend $80,000 on my Mercedes. I want to know at least what I'm getting.
I'm just saying with
But
respect
I'm
to...
comfortable with the brand of Bergerson. I've heard about you. I've
Yeah,
seen your
that's what I'm
website.
saying.
You look reputable.
He doesn't look that
You don't sound reputable, but
I mean, ultimately, it always comes down to trust, right? Where we put our trust and how much trust are we sort of extending towards our customers too, So am I gonna put them in a situation where I'm the very last, I'm the very last, the buck stops with me completely, or if I can back them up with something else in addition to me, can I offer them that? That's ultimately where I fall down. That's where I choose to do with my business. But again, it all just comes back down to trust.
Well, no, I think it goes back to what Trask said, is that we're all gamblers.
Yep.
And honestly,
We're going to hedge our bets how we hedge our bets, right?
Correct. We're all looking to mitigate liability as much as possible so that we can become as profitable as possible and run this successful business and deal with the least amount of headaches that we can. So from that perspective, yes, maybe the manufacturer steps in and helps me. But is it a guarantee? No. I need I think I would land on this side of things and say, I like this, that, the other thing, and I want to play with these because I feel most comfortable with them, as opposed to let me put this complete thing together.
And one thing I didn't mention, Kyle, that it's a team decision for us, especially commercially. Like if we're going to have to install 30,000 square feet of wood plank like we have before, I'm going to pull Trinity to the side, who runs our operations and runs all of our field staff, and say, hey, what adhesive do you plan, what do you want? What is going to work best for you and the team in terms of what you feel comfortable with going over this concrete slab with this SLU, what's the system? What do you want to use? What's going to be most productive? There's slate time, there's many things involved. So sometimes it starts with my installer, my advanced certified installer, right? My main head honcho, and configuring that game plan and pre-construction on what are we going to start with, adhesive, the most important thing, that percentage of coverage that we need for those minimum standards, because that's the biggest risk, right? That's the big production. That and the grout at the end, of course, that was black licorice Ardex and got completely trashed because the GC didn't use floor protection afterwards. But it all started with Trinity picking the adhesive. Everything else really didn't matter, and then we built up that system from there.
That's actually a really great point. And so
it was X5 gray, by the way, in case anybody wants to know.
But I think everybody here picks their setting materials and their grouts and the customer supplies nothing, correct?
No, absolutely. But I think
But that's the point. The whole. How many tile contractors out there or flooring contractors are allowing? You're walking into a home, you're accepting a bid, and the client is providing you everything. I was helping a guy with a wood install, and he showed me the adhesive he was using, and he's going over concrete, and I was like, you can't use that. It doesn't even have moisture mitigation properties, and you did not put down any moisture mitigation product on the slab. I was like, you need to stop immediately and go get different glues and start using those. So,
and he was going to hire you?
No. I was just helping someone online.
Consultant? Oh, okay.
Yeah, they asked me questions. I was like, no, stop. Like, do not do that install. Immediately go get what you need. But that's all I can go on my local community boards on Facebook, and everyone's like, well, I have the tile and thin set. Well, okay, did you get thin set for large format tile, or did you just buy whatever was cheapest at the box store? I don't want to trust what you purchased, because now I'm responsible. So I'm trying to limit and if I want to limit my liability, I want to be in control of the materials, let alone I want to handle the materials so I can put my margin on it.
If they bought it, they can take it right back to where they got it from, which is what we do. We'll install the tile if I have all the technical documents. Otherwise, we're not interested.
So I have a question for Ken, because we're similar in structure for our company.
Yeah.
So let's say in 5 years you're like, I'm sick of the Jersey Shore. I want to move to Wyoming. I love the Tetons. I'm sick of seeing these beautiful rolling waves in on the sand. I want to go to the middle of nowhere and see the Tetons, right?
This is already a stretch, bro.
No, this is right up your alley.
So you move out to the middle of nowhere, and one of your Franken showers fails. It just has a leak for whatever reason. What's your plan for standing behind it for that client when you're halfway across the country and no longer doing that work?
I'm making that trip back because my brand is on it.
Good answer.
Very good answer.
That's right, babe.
I had been in that situation specifically.
Yeah.
When I left, I worked for a contractor right out of college. I was a partner, and I came back to my family business. And in the interim, I was a part of the last shower I did and I didn't finish it, and it failed, and it was nothing I did. And you know, as a failure goes, everybody starts pointing fingers. But I did the same thing. I went back, and it sucked.
That's what, you know, we talk about that, and it's a little bit different of a dynamic for us because as like a one-man show or a one-man show with a helper or something like that, like we kind of go about things a little differently. But if this logo is on that shower, then this logo stays responsible for it.
That's not just single. That J and J&R, those letters mean something to the whole company, right? Those are the founders. That's my dad, my uncle. That's since 1984. That's my family's business. That's your family's business. That's an identity and brand as well. Like you fire and hire people by that brand. You cry at night. You celebrate. You know.
I cry every night. No, but that's why I asked Ken, because there's no likelihood of J&R moving out of Texas.
You're right. That's never going to happen.
There's no chance of Bergerson, Tile and Stone moving out of Oregon and no longer operating in Oregon, right?
Well, let's be perfectly clear. There's no chance of Skyro leaving Jersey.
So where are you going, Joseph?
I'm going to the Tetons.
We may grow, but we'll never leave.
Yeah.
She seems surprised. This is an interesting.
So I mean, on that note of backing your brand, there's in a couple weeks there's a really great episode with Bill Parker from Rapid Recess coming out, and he still has his company open. He's 5 years
When he was
removed
an
now.
installer?
Yes, he still keeps the LLC active with insurance on it because he promised his clients that the warranty was 10 years.
Well, Bill Parker is an entirely different breed of human,
Yes.
by the way. Like that.
Well, that speaks a lot because
That's good
legally,
humans right there.
he could. That's not even worming out. He could absolutely say, "Hey, that company doesn't exist anymore."
Yeah.
Correct, but he
Bill's
made a
not that
promise.
kind of
But
guy.
I think that's that it goes along with this conversation. Is like he promised a warranty, whether it was a system warranty or a personal warranty, and he's continuing to honor it. Does he need the company to honor it? No, he just has to show up.
But I'm saying
But
the
it-
norm
to
for
know
corporate
it.
America would be accepted as, "I'm sorry that company doesn't exist anymore." And I guess we buck the trend within this industry because we hear about this a lot here for the top 1%. We don't do business like corporate America does in that sense.
When people go a long way, I've said from the start, I buy from people. You know, my reps are very close with me. I really shouldn't do this because I'm going to forget somebody. But you know, Clax from Ardex, Shannon and Andrew from Schluter, John and Dan from Bostic. Like these people, we interact with on a regular basis. We build these relationships, and there's that element of trust with them. If one of them jumps ship and goes to another company, yeah, I might try that company.
Yeah.
You know?
I say that all the
Yeah.
time.
Yep. It's not-
If my
I'm not-
logos went to another brand,
Yeah.
I'm probably going with them.
I might not be loyal
Get
to that
retrained.
company, but I'm loyal to that
Come
person.
train us.
Yes, and I think that's it. You're definitely loyal to it. I have a relationship with the person, not the product.
Absolutely.
All of these companies spend way too much money on research and development. The products work, okay? You can hate on RedGuard gets a bad name because it constantly has shower
Because
failures.
it's sold at Depot.
It's that, but it's also it's lower on the cost spectrum, and you
Because
can
it's sold at
run,
Depot.
Yes, but you can run in and pick it up and make it happen. And there's
Because it's sold at Depot.
yes, there's many installers that will go and use it, and well, I don't need to put seam tape on the boards, and I just have to put the RedGuard on the seams, like whatever it's going to be. But then that product sucks, it always fails. No, they spent a lot of money to make sure that product
Absolutely.
works. It's just used
used
raw.
incorrectly.
And it may
So it
inherently
doesn't-
be difficult to use.
People
correctly.
can't read
Yes,
instructions.
mostly. Which that's you get a warranty if you follow instructions. So, but no, I mean the point is it doesn't matter.
I hate
what
IKEA furniture.
company.
I get it.
Yeah, but you can pick any company. Their products are built to last. They spent way too much money making them to not have them work, and it's user error that's making them not work. So
99%.
yes, they do have bad batches occasionally. They'll admit it. They're not. They're
Very
humans.
few, though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of quality control in those factories.
Yeah.
That is an instance usually if you have a quality company where there won't be an insurance type scenario. They want that problem to go away.
Well, we're
very-
talking about this too, like every job goes wrong, we're so worried about warranty, we're so worried about, people backing us up. Out of the number of showers that we install every year, like, what is that exact number that fail, We're so paranoid when, maybe we just need a little trust.
Yep.
Well, but you're trusting yourself every day.
I'm trusting
Right.
myself, I'm trusting my reps, I'm trusting the brands that they work for. It's trust, it's communication, it's how we treat each other.
It's like Russian nesting trust.
Yeah.
Every time you open
I like
a level
that.
of trust, there's some other trust further down. You just gotta keep going.
That's exactly what's happening.
Wow.
There you go. Deep.
Makush trust.
That is
no.
Is it is it trustception?
Yes.
Okay, so at the end of the day, what does it really come down to for you, Joseph? Like, end all be all, like, I'm gonna die by this system. Why is that?
Peace of mind, 100%. My peace of mind, client's peace of mind. That's what I sell, that's what I buy, and that's what I rely on.
Trask?
I'm going to reinforce this again tonight with my son, who's walking the floor right now and is going to say to me, hey, why don't we use it? And I'm just going to go, stop, or I'm going to choke you out if we have this discussion. Because he is looking the same way you guys are, going, I think that drain actually is better. And you know what probably is? We can't do this as a company. Maybe it's just because I'm entrenched and I can't deviate from being a systems person, because it's what we represent as part of us. But the bottom line, if you want to get to it, is, and I think we are all in agreement here, customers are going to be taken care of no matter what, and we're going to do the best we can to our abilities. We happen to approach it differently. But the bottom line is we're going to take care of our clients, right?
Okay. Erin?
Same here. It's going to be that JNR warranty. We won't rely on that manufacturer, but I will tell you, I'm very much on the same page with the manufacturer relationships having our back. So even if we're using a hybrid system, and part of that hybrid system would encounter a specific product that had that product warranty, yeah, I would go because of our relationship with that brand if there was an issue.
Ken?
It's comfort, trust, and respect. It's these traits that we try to, emulate in our business and personal lives. Like, if I trust you, that says something.
I agree. So it's...
And I want to also say training of our staff has, I don't know about Trask, but training of our staff has a huge part of that too.
Everything.
Everything is training, so when you're out in the field, it's a no-brainer.
Well, so I mean, you can look at it like you two have very similar companies for the most part, and you two have similar companies on size for the most part, but you've picked different systems and processes, and you've picked different systems and processes, and at the end of the day, your company is as unique as you are, and you need to run it the way you feel comfortable and find ways to make the way you feel about mitigating issues so that you're comfortable, right? And so build the relationships you need, get the education you need, and make yourself happy. And does it matter if it's a system warranty or self-warranted? Well, at the end of the day, in my opinion, it's always self-warranted. Because if you want that referral, if you want that client to come back to you in 10 years and get something else, it's your brand. They're not going to care that the shower was orange or gray or has red stuff painted on it. That didn't matter. It was the experience provided by you. So that warranty is always through you. Now, if it gets backed up, sure, great. If you're human, you make mistakes. You're probably going to have a failure. I know Ken went through a scare, and it was a leaky pipe, and it wasn't his fault. But he spent like 6 hours at a house trying to figure out if it was, and he was really nervous. Like, things happen. It's the way it goes.
Blood testing one before, and it was a leaky.
So I think just do what makes your company as successful as you want it to be, and you're going to be just fine moving down that route. Is there anything that we should have hit on?
I think we covered everything.
All right.
Plug our socials.
Sure. Where can people find you if they want to reach out to you,
So
Joseph?
you can find me on Instagram. The tag is on the level tile, all one word. Please follow me.
I was not prepared for
Contact Rogue Bergerson.
Tile, TikTok, Facebook, This feels like to me anymore, where it's like, hey, this is Trask, leave it. You know what to do, right? Just go and start typing the name,
You can find Bergerson Tile and Stone on Instagram and TikTok. Rogue does an excellent job with it. He's also a Rockstar winner. Erin?
I do a terrible job. It is jnrtile.com and J and R Tile spelled out on Instagram. I think. Yes.
I'm at Skyrow Floors on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all over the place.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I very much appreciate it. You can find Floor Academy on your favorite streaming app. You can find us on YouTube with our live videos. And join the Facebook group, and you can get podcasts before they even end up on the streaming apps as I record them live within the group. So check us out there, Floor Academy on Facebook. Thank you all for coming.